Welcome back to the Game of Muscle YouTube channel. It's Sunday, and it's time to be Sunday Schooled by Richard Burns Rally. And in this video, I wanted to share with you what I believe to be the most addictive stage in Richard Burns Rally stock content. Now, it might not be the best stage, it's a little bit short, it's practically a hill climb stage. But when it comes to can I improve my time, let's just have another go at this stage. This is on the level of playing Counter-Strike or Geometry Wars. It is, of course, the Coup d'Abros, otherwise known as France 1. Now, the reason I love this stage so much is because it just has so many different types of corners. Right from the get-go, the second and probably the first main corner of this stage is a ginormous sweeping left-hander which encourages you to launch the car sideways and take full advantage of the all-wheel drive that you've got with a lot of the rally cars. But it's a rather cheeky corner in that it feels like there's multiple ways you could take it, all of which could actually be conducive to a good stage time. It's just up to you how you actually get the most out of the angle that you do get through the corner. Following on from that, you have a really nice uphill section of ridiculous tight right and left-hander hairpin turns where you have to nail the handbrake, nail throwing the car in, and just get the power on without losing it. Immensely satisfying. And then you come to this section where the co-driver turns into the scat man. And the challenge through the town where you're probably going to put your car into someone's nice mountain retreat living room is just keeping your foot on the throttle because it's so hard to line the car through gaps that are essentially a car's width and not lift your foot at all. Following on from the town section, you get to chill out a little bit if you like chilling out by sticking car wheels on the side of a cliff face. And you've got to, again, nail it, cut it, but then be aware that the grip levels on the grass are different to the road, so it's really easy to totally mess it up and end up flipping the car either off the cliff or into the wall on the right hand side. But it's also downhill, so the back of the car's trying to fly out as well, forcing you to really listen and pay attention to what the force feedback's telling you. Fortunately, the force feedback in RBR is absolutely superb. And then the final section of this stage has a collection of corners that are really deceiving and really hard to get the most out of them. Not only in terms of just driving through it fast, but in terms of not just completely smashing your car into the hillside or off the cliff face again. You've got this really big temptation with the last part of the stage to actually try and cut the track because there's bits of grass that you can gain a lot of time on. But if you get it slightly off, there's big bumps on the side of the road that will just totally throw you off. So it just keeps you on your toes throughout the whole stage. And it's so satisfying when you do finally beat your best time that you've set on it. And even if, like me, your times aren't anywhere close to what the world records are, even probably people that do world records using a keyboard whilst driving with their nose, the point is, it's really enjoyable beating your own time. And it just feels so fun. I mean, just look at that! Just getting the car sideways and feeling like you're one-to-one with the vehicle. What you do is what the vehicle does, and the mistakes are from you doing it wrong. Even the aspects of RBR without any of the modifications on tarmac, where sometimes the car can get into a bit of a state of understeer, you just learn to drive around that and just use the handbrake more or approach the corners differently. It's all conveyed to you, and it's really easy to replicate it once you've learned the dynamics of the sim. And then to compound your enjoyment of it, I just can't get over how good the force feedback is in Richard Burns Rally. Given that this came out so long ago, it just holds up fantastically. I definitely think on the tarmac, it's not the most nuanced of force feedback in terms of texture and certain details that make it immersive from the vibrations and what have you. But in terms of the force feedback, doing the self-aligning, conveying front-end grip, rear-end grip, what you're doing, what the car's doing in response to the bumps, it just informs you and lets you know what's going on, and that's what makes it so addictive. And again, what makes it feel like it's your fault that you're crap at it rather than it's the game's fault for doing something that made no sense at all. Let's just rewind to the town section again here and just look at the poise of the vehicle as it goes through the corners. Absolutely superb. All the little subtle movements, the back sliding out a little bit, but nothing too crazy because I was in total control of the vehicle. Definitely also have to give credit for the replay system. It's so fun when you've just hammered yourself doing a stage. Maybe not in the case of this one because it's so short, but when you do the longer stages and you feel like you've absolutely nailed it and you remember those corners that you did perfectly, and then you go and watch the replay and you see the car navigating through them and you get to admire that one time you happened to get the hairpin spot on. And these shots look really nice. You know, they've gone for like nice camera effects, zooming in, zooming out, helicopter views. Really nice pace to the editing of it. Really natural. Little bit of camera shake. It just feels like you're watching a real rally car, which of course you were driving. So it just strokes that your ego and that fantasy that indeed you have the money to drive real rally cars when you don't. And also the reality for me would be I'd be Robert Kubica in it immediately. First stage, into a tree, broken arm, race career over, but he's coming back. Praise the Lord. We've got a religious theme going on today. May have touched the wall a little bit there, but you got to test the physics, as I always say. And the grass, yes, it is indeed lower grip than the road and will indeed slow you down. So pay attention to that. You guys can learn a lot from these videos that I put out here. Look at the headlights as well glowing. Feel the power of DirectX 7. It doesn't really matter as long as you've got hedges and grass. I don't care. Could be on the Voodoo too. Grasses and hedges makes everything perfect. But there you go, guys. Check out France 1. Don't get too addicted because instead of actually playing through the single player and doing more stages, you will spend 2.5, 3 hours just doing one stage over and over again. I didn't do that, I promise. Yeah, yes, I did. Please subscribe if you want more content and more RBR. Like, dislike, and let us know in the comments what you want to see. It helps me decide what to cover and what to do in future videos. Until the next one, guys, I've run out of tea bags. I'm back onto coffee. It's a disaster. Goodbye.